Hello, muffins. We are going to analyze the introduction of R- Rachel scene. Now, this would be a really good one for comparing with the introduction of Madeline slash Judy at Ernie's. First of all, this is a really good place to stop and pause this. We're going into the scene, a bit of classicism here with our establishing shot of the world, and then we're going to go in to just let me turn my telly off. To our location and then to our hero. Great place to stop because we can really see the shape of Tyrell Tower in this particular shot. This is that of the Mayan temple, setting up Tyrell to be a god. The sky in this dystopian future is this sort of like stormy orange, indicating that we are in this dystopian future world. Typical of Ridley Scott, one of his motifs. Very extensive establishing shots here that really show off the spectacle of the world that has been created. Spectacle. He is, after all, master of spectacle. Sorry, that's Buster. Hey. Okay. So now we. Hey, Buster. Shh, shh, shh. So now we cut, to the interior. We are now inside Tyrell's office building, and it starts with the owl silently watching them, the symbol of wisdom. And he is, of course, a fake owl, just like everything. So look at this symmetry of this shot. We have this office building that looks out over the city of Los Angeles, and it is this sort of like this dystopian city, but it is strangely beautiful as well. If you look at the precision here of that angular building as it touches the sun, like a sundial, like they're worshipping the sun god. The god of course is Tyrell, the god in this film. And if we look at the interior, it looks like the inside of an Egyptian temple. If you look down the sides, each side of the shot here, we have these kind of artifacts down each side. There's some here, and there's some. Oh, my hands go the wrong way. There's some. I'm pointing the right way in my screen. Oh yeah, there's some down there, that side, and it looks like he's in a museum, which means that Tyrell's kind of collector of beautiful objects, of which Rachel is one. She is a beautiful object, or as he describes her, an experiment. This is the first shot of her. So again, we have the symbol of the bird, the eagle in the back, and we have the Hedy Lamarr look. Ridley Scott said that he wanted her makeup to look quite severe but beautiful, like Hedy Lamarr, an actress from the 1930s. So this is a femme fatale look. And she looks very much like an 80s businesswoman with these enormous shoulder pads. So the silhouette is very 80s meets 30s or 40s.
Do you like our owl?
It's artificial.
This walk that she does here towards the camera reminds me a little bit of Madeline walking towards the camera in her introduction. We've got this symmetry either side as well, and she is completely in tune with the mise en scène. Her costume, the colour of her flesh, the colour of the walls, the colour of her costume, the colour of the ornaments, it all matches. So she is part of this world, and she has a very masculine look. This walk of hers with her hand on her hip, very robotic, and her beauty is kind of fragile and doll-like. She is perfect.
Of course it is.
Must be expensive.
Very. I'm Rachel.
Deckard.
It seems you feel our work is not a benefit to the public.
They don't blink very much.
Replicants are like any other machine.
Replicants.
They're either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem.
May I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
So in terms of proxemics, he goes to a lower position. We are now looking up at her. She has the power. She is asking the questions. Okay, so this strong, powerful woman strides into the scene. She doesn't just walk into the scene, she strides into the scene wearing really nice shoes. And she is asking the questions. She is in control. She is this epitome of like this 80s businesswoman. We are in the second wave. Well, we're past the second wave of feminism now. We're now in the 1980s, so we're looking at businesswomen who want equality in terms of the context, and that's what we're seeing here with Rachel. Sorry, the dog is just being a nuisance down here. Good boy, Buster, be good.
Have you ever retired a human by mistake?
What a funny question to ask. She's obviously starting to process and be thinking about being a human, being a replicant.
No.
But in your position, that is a risk.
Is this to be an empathy test?
Here he is. He's the man.
Capillary dilation?
Same entrance, same sort of like direction as Rachel in the beginning. And those big glasses give him this kind of like exaggerated, that retina flare that we get. So we know who's a replicant. We get that effect with him because his glasses are so big. They kind of like mask his face, but they also give that refraction. That's the word I was looking for. The refraction of light that we recognize as an indicator of being a replicant.
Fluctuation of the pupil? Involuntary dilation of the iris.
We call it Voight-Kampff for short.
Mr. Deckard, Dr. Eldon Tyrell.
Demonstrate it. I want to see it work.
So,
Where's the subject?
so in terms of proxemics, he steps in front of her. This is a shallow focus, so she steps out of focus. He is now the primary focus of the shot. She's literally steps aside to make space for him as the female so that the male can talk, and he dominates. Okay, so Tyrell is dominant in this scene.
I see it work on a person. I want to see a negative before I provide the positive.
What's that going to prove?
Indulge me.
On you?
Try her.
It's too bright in here.
So here comes the music. The music gets a little bit romantic now. They draw the blinds down. So now we're getting this beautiful shot here. This chiaroscuro lighting is going to become even more low-key, darker, and the music has this dream-like sort of romance to it. So the VK machine, the Voight-Kampff machine, or the VK machine, it's anthropomorphic. So it has human qualities, a bit like a replicant. Human qualities, it has an eye, It has a brain and it has lungs that we see go up and down like that. So this basically, like a lie detector test, has human qualities. Another machine in the scene that has human qualities. Shall I
If I
focus?
smoke.
It won't affect the test. All right, I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
This scene is so
Relax and
beautiful.
answer them as simply as you can.
So the brain, the eyes.
Your birthday. Someone gives you a calfskin wallet.
I wouldn't accept it. Also, I'd report the person who gave it to me to the police.
The lungs.
You've got a little boy. He shows you his butterfly collection, plus the killing jar.
The retinas.
I take him to the doctor.
See how the smoke kind of dances in the light rather seductively around her. It is classic femme fatale. The smoking, the look, the sass that she's giving him. It is the establishment of a femme fatale type character. However, Rachel doesn't end up being the femme fatale archetype. Later in the scene when she is seduced, she submits, she becomes a good girl. She doesn't fulfill this kind of like sexual black widow kind of character that we are expecting from a femme fatale. She submits.
You're watching television. Suddenly you realize there's a wasp crawling on your arm.
I'd kill it.
You're reading a magazine. You come across a full-page nude photo of a girl.
Is this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian, Mr. Deckard?
Just answer the questions, please. You show it to your husband. He likes it so much he hangs it on your bedroom wall.
I wouldn't let him.
Cross dissolve here indicates the passing of time, and it gives this scene a very dream-like quality, a sort of like a fantasy quality.
Why not? One more question. You're watching a stage play. A banquet is in progress. The guests are enjoying an appetizer of raw oysters. The entree consists of boiled dog.
So, see how his performance changes here now that he twigs that she's a replicant. He is much more dismissive of her now, less threatened. So she's not a real woman, she's a replicant, so therefore less threatening to him.
Would you step out for a few moments, Rachel? Thank you.
That walk she does with the hand tucked into,
I'm impressed.
very robotic.
How many questions does it usually take to spot one?
I don't get it, Tyrell.
How many questions?
20, 30 cross-reference.
It took more than 100 for Rachel, didn't it?
Doesn't know.
She's beginning to suspect, I think.
Suspect. How can it not know what it is?
Commerce is our...
So he calls her it. Now that she is a replicant, a machine, she's now an it, not a her. So that is the dismissive language that he's going to use to talk about Rachel. It. Now, Tyrell is about to tell us everything we need to know. This is part of the exposition, establishing the verisimilitude of the film. So we're just 20 minutes in, and this is the morality, the motif, the heart of the film. These statements that are going to come out of Tyrell's mouth in this scene. I'll let it play through, But this is the whole point of the film, all these things that he says.
Go here, Tyrell. More human than human is our motto. Rachel is an experiment, nothing more.
We began to recognize in them strange obsession. After all, they are emotionally inexperienced with only a few years in which to store up the experiences which you and I take for granted. If we gift them with the past, we create a cushion or pillow for their emotions, and consequently we can control them better.
Memories. You're talking about memories.
There we go. That's the scene. So Tyrell's monologue there at the end, it starts with more human than human is our motto, and then it says we control the replicants by gifting them memories. So by if we want to talk about that contextually, by rewriting the past, we can control people's reactions to the future. And we have examples here within the film where characters going through identity crisis. They don't have memories, or they realize their memories can't be relied on. And I'm not sure where I was going with that. Ultimately, the female characters have to submit and be guided by the male characters in order to survive. Any female characters in this film that are too sexually aggressive or too intelligent, they are destroyed by the world. Well, by Deckard. So that's Zora and Pris. The other scene I would recommend you looking at is the death of Zora. And look at how that is shot in comparison to how the death of Roy is captured on film. Would be a really good comparison. Okay, muffins. That is it from me. Thank you so much. Bye.